Welcome to Voyage Daily Tech, the most important news personalized for you every day, supported by Voyage.com.
So, we've got 5 major stories for you today. First, we'll explain how the AI gold rush is creating a new class of paper billionaires from companies like Anthropic AI and how it's fueling a new gilded age in San Francisco. Second, while Amazon CEO Andy Jassy sees a future with billions of AI agents, we'll explore the new machine speed arms race in cybersecurity and the unresolved responsibility gap. Third, a rumored partnership between ChatGPT and Shopify could pose an existential threat to Amazon, shifting the battle from selling products to controlling your attention in a $50 billion market. Fourth, a new White House order could let you invest in companies like Elon Musk's SpaceX with your 401k, but it also might make your fees explode with a risky 2 and 20 structure. And finally, comedian and Daily Show co-host Josh Johnson explains why he's betting on old school TV over TikTok fame and how creators can build a career that actually lasts. An expert at MIT just said something that should stop you in your tracks. Looking back over 100 years of data, he says, "We have never seen wealth created at this size and speed." He calls it unprecedented. This isn't just another tech boom. This is the AI gold rush, and it's making the dot-com era look like a warm-up. Believe it or not, there are now nearly 500 private AI companies valued at over $1 billion. 100 of them were founded just since 2023. Their combined value, a staggering $2.7 trillion. The numbers are moving so fast, they're almost hard to process. In March, the company Anthropic AI was valued at $60 billion. Today, they're in talks for a new valuation of $170 billion. OpenAI is now in talks for a valuation of $500 billion. So the thing is, many of these AI startups are securing valuations that are hundreds of times their annual revenues. This is a huge departure from how companies were valued in the past. Investors are betting entirely on future potential, not current performance. But this creates a paradox. The operational costs are astronomical. It costs an estimated $700,000 a day just to run ChatGPT. This is why some experts, like those at Vanguard, are warning that this feels very similar to the dot-com bubble, where overinflated expectations could lead to a major market correction. The hype is real, but so are the risks. And it's creating a new class of billionaires overnight. Mira Murati left OpenAI and just months later raised $2 billion for her new company in the largest seed round in history. The 25-year-old founder of Enosphere, Michael Trull, is now likely a billionaire. But that's not the whole picture. Most of this is paper wealth locked up in private companies, yet the money is starting to flow. After a massive deal with Meta, a co-founder who left her company back in 2018 just bought a mansion for around $30 million. So how does someone with paper wealth suddenly have $30 million in cash? Well, because this wealth is illiquid, a whole new financial ecosystem has emerged to unlock it. We're talking about secondary markets like EquityZen, where employees can sell their private shares to outside investors. Companies also initiate what are called tender offers, allowing founders and early employees to cash out a portion of their stock. This is how the paper money becomes real money. Long before a company ever goes public, the impact is rewriting the fate of entire cities. Just a few years ago, San Francisco was supposedly in a doom loop. Now, thanks to AI, it has more billionaires than New York City, and its millionaire population has doubled in the last decade. However, this incredible comeback presents a fascinating duality. This hyper-concentrated wealth is creating what some are calling a new gilded age for the Bay Area. Research shows that the region now has the nation's highest income gap, with the top 1% of earners holding nearly half of the area's wealth. This is driving up housing costs so dramatically that it's accelerating the displacement of long-term, lower-income residents, creating a more divided city. So while the AI boom is reversing the doom loop for some, it's intensifying the affordability crisis for many others. This all begs the question, what happens when this new generation of disruptors who just created historic wealth turns their attention to the next industry? Because as one expert put it, after they get bruised a bit, they'll look to reinvent the very system meant to manage their money. And we're already seeing the answer to that question emerge. This new class of tech billionaires isn't just going to hire wealth managers. They're going to build AI to replace them. They have the expertise and the capital to create the very tools that will automate and disrupt the financial industry. In fact, A recent PwC survey forecasts that assets managed by AI-driven platforms will surge to nearly $6 trillion by 2027. This isn't a distant future. This is happening now, and it signals a massive shift in how wealth will be managed for everyone. Speaking of disruption, this AI revolution isn't just creating wealth, it's also creating new weapons. A top cybersecurity CEO just declared a new arms race. He says companies know AI is being used against them, and the only way to fight back is to use it in their own defense. This isn't science fiction. The days of laughable phishing emails with obvious misspellings are over. As one industry leader put it, I can now take the average bad actor and make them better. Security officers are confirming that criminals are using artificial intelligence to get inside organizations faster and more effectively than ever before. We are entering an era of agent versus agent warfare. This is a new kind of cyber conflict fought at machine speed, where an attacker's AI is constantly trying to outsmart a defender's AI. Think of it as a continuous high-speed chess match where the pieces are constantly learning and adapting. Groups like FunkLocker and SparkCat have already been caught using generative AI to make their attacks more creative and effective. The battlefield is now digital, and the soldiers are autonomous lines of code. So how are corporations responding to this new intelligent threat? They're deploying their own AI agents to the front lines. These aren't just tools. They're being called autonomous AI teammates that work alongside human experts, hunting for threats 24/7. And the scale of this shift is staggering. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy sees a future with billions of these agents across every company and in every imaginable field. That future is already taking shape. A recent Gartner poll found that nearly 1 in 4 major companies have already deployed AI agents internally, handling tasks from HR to IT. In cybersecurity, this means I can now automatically investigate an alert, quarantine a suspicious email, or restrict a compromised account, all without human intervention. Now, here's where it gets interesting. That phrase, without human intervention, is a huge deal. What happens when one of these autonomous agents makes a mistake? What if it wrongly identifies a critical part of a hospital's network as a threat and shuts it down? This raises a massive legal question. Who is responsible? The company that deployed the AI, the developer who built it? This is what experts call a responsibility gap, and it's a huge unresolved challenge. We're deploying technology that can act on its own before we've figured out who pays the price when it's wrong. The goal isn't to replace people, but to augment them. One CEO describes it as giving an analyst a teammate that multiplies their capability, freeing them from routine work to focus on the biggest threats. Actually, augmenting a human analyst with an AI teammate isn't as simple as just giving them a new piece of software. It fundamentally changes the job. The cybersecurity professionals of tomorrow won't just be looking for hackers. They'll need to be AI managers. They'll need skills in analytical reasoning, systems thinking, and even ethics to train, audit, and oversee their AI partners. And here's a critical point. By automating routine tasks, we might be eliminating the very entry-level jobs that create the next generation of experts, potentially making it harder to get into the field. But the real kicker is this. While we hear a lot about AI changing finance or law, experts believe corporate adoption in cybersecurity is happening even faster. Why? Because for these companies, it's not a choice. In the new AI arms race, it's a matter of survival. We were just talking about Amazon's vision for AI agents, but in a twist of irony, a new AI partnership could pose an existential threat to its core business. The entire game of online shopping is about to be flipped on its head. Forget who closes the sale. The new war is about who controls you before the sale. Right now, you might search for a product on ChatGPT, but you still have to click over to a company's website to buy it. That's about to end. A rumored partnership between ChatGPT and Shopify could allow you to complete the entire transaction from discovery to purchase without ever leaving the chat. Creating a universal AI checkout is a massive technical undertaking. It means securely managing your payment details, your shipping address, and order data across thousands of different, often incompatible merchant systems. It's a huge security challenge. Experts are already asking who would be liable if a data breach or a fraudulent transaction is orchestrated through the AI, because our current laws weren't written for this scenario. And if you think this is just about convenience, you're wrong. This is a seismic shift, and it's happening because the current system is broken. A recent IBM study found that only 14% of consumers are actually satisfied with their online shopping experience. 14%. This widespread dissatisfaction is exactly what AI-powered conversational commerce promises to fix. The idea is to have a personalized, real-time interaction that guides you almost like a personal shopper. In fact, retailers like Nordstrom found that customers using their AI styling services spend 60% more, which shows just how effective this can be. For e-commerce giants like Amazon or Etsy, who have built empires on keeping you browsing on their sites, one expert calls this an existential threat. Why? Because users who used to start their search on Amazon are now starting with AI. What's often missed in this discussion is what happens to individual brands, especially the direct-to-consumer ones you see on social media. When an AI becomes the main marketplace, a unique brand can be reduced to just another line item in a chat response. The AI becomes the gatekeeper, and brands lose that direct relationship with you, their customer. According to one industry CEO, selling the product isn't where the real money is anymore. It's selling the eyeballs. The ads that appear inside e-commerce sites have become a $50 billion global market. This isn't just about banner ads. This is about a whole new kind of advertising. Instead of just showing you an ad, the AI can weave product placements directly into the conversation. It might offer you sponsored recommendations or rank certain products higher because a brand paid for it, and you might not even know the difference. This brings us to a shocking fact. Amazon's most profitable business isn't its Prime membership or even its massive cloud service, AWS. It's retail media, it's the ads, and this market is exploding. Projections show the conversational commerce market is set to surge from around $8 billion to over $32 billion by 2035. That's the prize everyone is fighting for. When an AI like ChatGPT becomes the new homepage for commerce, it doesn't need to sell products. It just needs to own your attention. This single shift could reroute billions in revenue away from the current titans of e-commerce and toward whoever owns the conversation. When one company controls discovery, choice, and the final purchase, it creates what experts call a manipulative choice architecture. The AI could steer you towards products based on hidden incentives, like higher affiliate fees, rather than what's actually best for you. This is such a big deal that regulators are already paying close attention. The US Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission are actively investigating major AI partnerships to see if they stifle competition and create new monopolies. The battle for your wallet is now a battle for your attention. So while these AI giants are battling for your attention, a new White House order might soon let you battle for a piece of them right from your 401k. But it could also make the fees on it absolutely explode. The private equity funds being pushed often have a 2 and 20 fee structure. That's a 2% management fee every year, plus taking 20% of any profits. When we place that alongside the average mutual fund in a 401k today at a mere 0.26%, the difference is staggering. That 2% management fee is typically charged on your entire investment year after year, whether it makes money or loses money for you. And the 2 and 20 model is often just the start. Research shows these funds can have a whole menu of other charges, like transaction fees for buying and selling companies or monitoring fees for overseeing them, which can be buried deep in the fine print. This is all because of a directive to open up retirement plans for 90 million investors to alternative assets. We're talking cryptocurrency or shares in privately held giants like ChatGPT developer OpenAI or Elon Musk's SpaceX. The promise is access to massive growth. The argument from proponents is that this finally democratizes wealth, giving regular people the same opportunities that have been reserved for the ultra-rich and institutional investors for decades. But investment professionals are sounding the alarm. One expert puts it bluntly, this is brand new. None of it has been stress tested yet in a market shock. Another highlights a fundamental mismatch, explaining that you're asking systems designed for daily trades to support illiquid and sometimes manually priced assets. However, if you zoom out, you'll see another layer of complexity at play. Your 401k is built on a technology platform that needs to know the exact value of your investments every single day. It's how you can make trades, rebalance your portfolio, or take a loan. But a share in a private company doesn't have a daily stock price. Its value might only be calculated once a quarter or even less frequently. This creates a huge operational headache and potential inaccuracies in your account balance. Forget checking your portfolio's value on a whim. With these, it's not that simple. But the rabbit hole goes deeper. An analyst at Morningstar warns that the stated fees for these alternative investments might be even underrepresenting the actual cost to the end investor, with the true cost sometimes buried deep in footnotes. It's a complete reversal of the decades-long trend of cutting fees and increasing transparency for retirement savers. And this isn't just theory. A real-world test case at chipmaker Intel saw employees sue over retirement plans that included these exact types of private investments. The result? A messy, expensive legal battle that dragged on for 7 years. Perhaps the most alarming risk isn't a lawsuit. It's what could happen during a market panic. Because many of these assets are illiquid, meaning they can't be sold quickly for cash, there's a real risk of something called gating. It means if the market is crashing and everyone rushes to sell, a fund manager can literally freeze withdrawals to prevent a mass sell-off. Your retirement money could be locked up, completely inaccessible, right when you need it most. The push is to give everyday investors a shot at higher returns. But with warnings of untested risks, non-transparent fees, and a history of legal nightmares, it all begs one critical question. Is this really about securing your retirement or someone else's? From high-risk investments to high-risk careers, in an age where TikTok can make a comedian famous overnight, one of the internet's biggest stars just went on the record with a defense of old-school TV, and his reasoning is fascinating. Comedian Josh Johnson, who regularly gets millions of views for his online clips and is a co-host on The Daily Show, has a message for every creator chasing viral fame. He says the popular idea that independent creators and media will one day take over everything. He's not buying it. In his own words, I don't actually think that will be what happens. This is where the situation takes a more complex turn. We're talking about two fundamentally different career paths for creators today, each with its own economic reality. On one side, you have the direct-to-consumer model, think YouTube or TikTok, which offers creative freedom and total ownership of your work. Interestingly enough, the creator economy follows what's called a power law distribution. This means a tiny fraction of creators, less than 1%, capture the vast majority of the audience and revenue. It's an incredibly competitive, high-risk, high-reward game. Johnson argues that while independent creators will gain more market share, you cannot understate the power of traditional platforms. He believes that deep down, audiences still like the idea that there's a big thing a person can do, a massive stage that legacy media provides. And he's right to point this out because that big stage comes with a different set of trade-offs. A contract with a network like Comedy Central can offer a steady salary, benefits, and a built-in production and marketing machine. The catch? You often give up a significant amount of creative control and, crucially, ownership of your intellectual property. So the choice for a creator becomes, do you want the stability of the old guard or the entrepreneurial freedom and risk of the new frontier? And his strategy for navigating this new world is razor sharp. He looks at career advice the same way he looks at stock tips, saying, by the time I find out, it's too late. His point is that by the time someone can give you a template for success, that path is probably already outdated. He's perfectly describing the predictable life cycle of social media platforms. When a platform like TikTok first starts, it offers massive organic reach. It's a golden era where anyone can go viral. But as the platform matures, its algorithm changes. It starts prioritizing paid content to make money, and that free organic reach plummets. We saw it with Facebook, we saw it with Instagram, and it's a cycle that forces creators to constantly adapt or be left behind. This thinking extends to how he deals with his audience. While many creators are obsessed with online feedback, Johnson pushes back. He says the best relationship with an audience is in person. Claiming a good meet and greet after a live show will tell a comedian more about their act than reading thousands of comments online. And this isn't just about handshakes. The smartest creators are using this principle to build digital communities. They use platforms like TikTok to attract an audience, but then they move that audience to more stable, owned channels. We're talking about a modern tech stack for community building, Discord for real-time chat, Patreon for exclusive content, and Substack for direct newsletters. The goal is to convert a fickle, algorithm-driven audience into a loyal, monetizable fan base that you have a direct relationship with. He believes that if you get obsessed with numbers, the audience can become fickle. It all begs the question, what's the real end game? For Johnson, it's not about being a flash in the pan. He points out that the most legendary comedians we talk about are not the ones who had a brief moment, they are the ones who stayed. In a world chasing the next viral hit, his bet is on building something that lasts. After all, the real strategy isn't just about creating content, it's about building a durable career across all these shifting platforms.
That's it for today on Voyage Daily Tech. Follow, share, and stay tuned for daily updates coming your way tomorrow.